Hi folks, Job Lot Comics here, having a look at an old British Alan Class reprint book. Something in this really caught my eye. I thought it would be interesting for you to have a look at it. It's a comic strip that, really made me double take it when I read it because I'd never read it before. So this is Alan Class Comics, and they are black and white reprints of old comic books that we used to get in the UK. You can even say, look, they didn't even bother putting anything on the front page. It's just this blank thing. So what this would be a mismatch. You've probably seen things like this on my channel previously. Look, you've got Stan Lee doing the plot, Larry Lieber doing the story, and Don Heck on the artwork. Don Heck's artwork, I know. Anyway, what this was, usually it was just reprints of old short stories. You know those old things they used to do in Amazing Fantasy and all those Marvel sort of mystery books. They were very much of the ilk. Here's the setup, and then here's the twist at the end. It was like Twilight Zone, Night Gallery. It was like all those kind of things, yeah. And they would just be churning them out. However, it was all top talent, yeah, that was working on this. This is obviously a Kirby. And then they would also pluck things from Marvel and reprint them, such as there would be Spider-Man reprints and Daredevil reprints and all that kind of stuff. It was and all done on the cheapest possible paper, probably cheaper than Charlton. And the good thing was, though, you had a lot of bang for your buck, yeah, because there was often 100 pages or 64 pages in these things, and they are kind of square bound as well. Can you see that? So, yeah, they were just brilliant to read. Now, I was flicking through these, as you do, and I came across a Steve Ditko story. Now, it's Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Obviously, you can see the signatures down there, and it's unmistakable Ditko artwork. This is an odd one because I'm pretty sure how Stan used to do it. He'd be like, "Hey, I got this idea. There's this guy, and he does comic strip about real people, and that's what that is." And then he would just, give it to Steve Ditko, and Steve would pretty much draw it, and then send it back, and then they would put they would put the dialogue in afterwards. That's the kind of Marvel way, yeah. This is so strange, right? This guy here, this Doveball, he's asking for money for this guy, and he says Nick Nash is an artist. He draws a comic strip which appears in the daily paper. And anytime Nick doesn't like people, he draws them in his comic strip and makes them look ridiculous. So here he is hitting on this girl, and she won't go out with him, and he says, "Well, I'll put you in my comic strip, yeah, and I'll make you like look horrible." And she says, "I'll have dinner with you." And then some people refuse to let Nick push them around, yeah, and Nick is true to his word and not laughed at. He did it. How could he be so rotten? There's this new villain in Nash's comic strip, yeah. His name is Tightwad Ted, that's it. Hey, Tightwad Ted, I recognise you from the comic strip. So this guy is using his comic book to get his own way and humiliate people. And you get this kind of stuff, yeah. He even gets hold of this girl who's on the TV and stuff, and then he puts her and calls her Tina Horrid, and yeah, isn't it so bizarre? Now, my question is this Steve Ditko having a go at Stan Lee? Or is this Stan Lee having a go at Steve Ditko? Now, yeah, it's so strange because I really think it's Ditko having a go at Lee. And Stan just didn't pick up on it, or the editor didn't pick up on it. Yeah, by the end of the book here, this one of this artist's victims get hit by a car in the hospital. Now I have to dig up a new character for my comic strip. Well, I'll find someone easily enough, and with this power, I will through my comic strip. I can make or break him. With the power in this hand, my drawing hand, I can crush anybody. Nobody can fight me. Nobody can stop me. I'm Nick Nash, the comic strip king. And then the twist here is, but sometimes a king loses his crown. Nick, what? Who are you? Me? I'm living proof, Nick. Proof that anybody can be stopped, even you. Now I'll start the strip all over again, even though it's more work for me. I don't mind, and don't feel bad about being a Nick. I've got a feeling you won't be missed at all. So this guy's like, you know, a really bad guy, and then the artist just erases him because he's in a comic strip as well. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but is this Ditko just having a little pop? And it's hard to imagine. Maybe it is a reach, and maybe it's just coincidence, because at the time those things were coming out, I'm not sure that Stan, and good lord, look at this thing, Anthony Hopkins in Magic. And maybe, you know, maybe I'm reading too much into it. But look, here's more Ditko. But isn't it odd? I don't know. I thought it was odd. And there's another story in here by Jack Kirby called Propaganda. So yeah, it just caught my eye, and I thought you guys might get a kick out of seeing that. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, as usual, because what do I know about comics? I know nothing. But isn't that great? If you see these, pick them up. Sometimes you can get them cheap, and if you get them cheap, damn, it's a good afternoon of reading. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.